everyone, welcome to a little session this week that I'm going to talk about abdominal exercises, but primarily why often a lot of people say that it bothers their neck more so than anything else. Obviously it's very common in any sort of ab exercises when you're laying down on your back and you're doing like ab curls or ab crunches, whatever you want to call them, is that people start to feel like it's pulling into the neck and it's causing more like neck problems than they're actually gaining any benefit to their abdominals. There's quite a few reasons why that might be happening. Predominantly it's because we use our neck muscles more than we're actually using our core muscles. So we might switch these on first and sort of use our like upper body to lift ourselves up rather than relying on our abdominals to switch on and lift ourselves off the ground. So obviously, like I say, when you're down here, you're pulling up, people tend to strain the neck muscles because they actually switch these on first, maybe don't switch these on enough, and they're relying on these muscles rather than these muscles to get themselves off the ground. It could also be that your abs are slightly weak. So that's not to say that you're not working them or that there isn't some sort of strength there. It just means that they're maybe not strong enough to lift yourself up without relying on a little bit of this area here to switch on as well. It could be the position that you're in to start. So it might be that you are not engaged before you start to lift. So again, what I will probably see is probably a few of the most common things that people do is they hold their head. So they cup the head and they're using their head to lift themselves up. Now you might think that that's supporting your head, but actually it's not, because you've already put yourself in the wrong position. By cupping your head, your elbows are coming in, you're tightening up across your chest, you're weakening across your upper back, and then you actually take your neck out of alignment because you pull your head to get yourself off the ground. So when you're doing this lift, realistically, your fingers should only be resting on your temples and your elbows should always be as wide as possible, so that when you take that lift, you are still open across the chest. It's not pulling into here, because again, that's just going to put added strain onto these neck and upper back muscles. So here is a better position. That also keeps us in neutral. So the idea is that when you lay down, and this is why I also always say about using blocks as well. When you lay down, let's say we're not on a block, most people tip the head too far back. So they sort of throw the head back, there's too much of a gap here. When they come to lift up, they're then having to move out of alignment. So they're going from out of alignment and then out of alignment again. So if you don't have a block, your head should be in a neutral position. So when you lay the back of your head down on the floor, get your fist, and if you just sort of put your fist between or under your chin to your clavicle bones here, that should be the right gap. If you're here, too much of a gap. If you can't get your hand in, too small. So again, not in the right position. So just enough, or what we say sometimes is an orange. So an orange under your chin, that's it, that puts you in a neutral position. Using a block will also help that alignment, as long as it is not too high. So these blocks are fine, the thinner blocks are really good as well. But again, I'm already in the right position there. Plus, when your head is on a block, it takes away the strain. So you might even start with a little bit of strain in the neck if your head is on the floor. If it's on a block, you're already kind of putting yourself into a neutral position. So you shouldn't really then need to sort of find that position, because it should already be there. So that's two things to sort of think about with your block and using your hand just to check. So when you're coming up, let's think that that orange is staying there. So when you're lifting, that orange should be able to stay exactly in the same place. If you're cupping your head and your orange is here, what will tend to happen is you will pull and you will drop your chin too far to your chest. So again, really think about that if you've got a tendency to want to put your hands there. Always here is better, because like I say, we want to keep the chest open. So we want to keep what we call a neutral position through the body. The next thing to think about is your setup for your core. So more so in Pilates, we're going about neutral alignment, neutral pelvis, neutral spine. And that is where we have just a natural arch in the lower part of our back. It's about just enough to slide your fingertips underneath that lumbar area of your back. If you are here and your hands can really easily slide in and touch each other, then we've taken ourselves out of neutral and we're overextending. So we've switched these off and we're now creating tension in our back. And if you was to then add a lift from there, you're just going to feel it directly in your lower back and probably still in your neck, but actually not in here. So there's two things you can think about. Neutral, and make sure you stay neutral, you don't go any higher. Or you could imprint, what we call imprint. So you're actually tilting the pelvis backwards, so you're going the other way and you're pushing your back into the floor. So you're creating more of a flatter back. And that, I would say, is something you would do more so if your abdominals are a little weaker. So if your abs are fairly strong, always try and stay neutral. But if you're struggling with your abs and you're wanting to build up your abdominals, then go with that imprint to begin, because when you go into imprint, it makes you more aware of already you're starting to having to pull in with the abdominals. And so when you take that lift, if your back is now on the floor, as you come up to your lift, then you've got that feedback, because you want to be able to still push the lower back into the floor. So that way, that would help build that abdominal strength from the beginning. So just remember, imprint if maybe your abdominals are a little weak or you've got lower back issues. If you're kind of intermediate to advanced, neutral spine, but never ever over exaggerate of that curve. So always make sure you start there. So before you start to add that lift, just remember, are you in neutral or are you in imprint, and draw the belly button down. Another key thing to also get feedback is to put your hand on your belly. So if, say, you're in imprint, your belly button will automatically draw down a little bit. So your hand should be nice and flat. So when you take that rise up, the key is to not then push your hand higher. So it's to still pull away from your hand rather than pushing the belly upwards. So if you feel that when you lift, your belly pushes into your hand, they've switched off, lower back's now working a bit more, and so is the neck. So remember, it needs to all come from here. I hope that's not too much information to take in, or if it doesn't make sense, obviously speak to me and we can go through it a little bit more. Just trying to think if there's anything else that we need to think about. So, oh yeah, your breathing. Breathing's really important. Always exhale when you're lifting up. Inhale on your way back down. So again, the exhale is more the engagement. So when you're taking that lift and you're pulling in, you're exhaling. So exhaling on the lift and then inhale to release, because that's you relaxing down. So that's allowing you to relax your abs, switch them off, and then get ready again as you lift, engage and exhale. Your breathing is really important. It might not seem like it is, but it is very important. If your breathing's not right, that's not also going to help you with building up that what I class as deep core abdominal work. So you're really trying to work your abdominals from the inside out rather than the outside in. There is a difference. So we're working the deep core stabilizer muscles. The deep core stabilizer muscles are the ones that we need to get strong, keep strong, because that's what supports everything that goes around here. That supports that lower back. So always think about, it's not just about the appearance of your stomach on the outside, it's actually what's going on the inside that's more important. So deep core stabilizer muscles, and that's why Pilates is really good, because it strengthens from within more so than sometimes like weightlifting exercises and things like that. And always going slower. So the slower gives you more time to concentrate and adapt if needs be, and to focus on what you're actually doing, what you're trying to achieve as well, and gives you time also to focus on your breathing, which also it helps with your strength. So breathe in, exhaling when you lift, engaging your abs first before you take the lift. If you're using your hands, try and just have this position. Don't pull on the head just because you think it's supporting you, it's not. Check that little gap, pop your fist underneath, make sure that position stays the same when you're lifting to when you're lowering back down. So neck in neutral. They're the main things really that you need to think about for abdominals. Now, all I would say is, if you still really struggle with your neck and it's really not helping you at all, there's always alternatives. Plank is a really, really useful abdominal exercise, not even just for abs. So go to a plank, because if you're doing a correct plank, then you're not changing position, you're not moving, you're just holding it statically, but that really focuses again on building up that core strength. So just switch it to a plank. You could do some leg lowers. So instead of lifting your head, just use your legs. So there's always alternatives. You don't have to go with the ab curls, ab crunches. So there's always something else that you can do. But obviously, if you're doing those, just be really mindful. Like I say, put all those things together first before you start to take that lift. I hope that helps. And as I say, if you need to chat to me about it a little bit more, then let me know. And see you soon. Bye.